Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's seminars, The Journey Towards ESG and Carbon Neutral. On behalf of Panel Chapter Committee, I'm Francis Tang, and I will be the host today. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate that you have great interest to our topic today. I believe ESG, carbon neutral, will be our new trend. Although we are talking about this sustainability many years ago, but I believe today will be a very special day as well as the year to implement the ESG and carbon neutral. Thank you for our sponsor, Alcom, Sales and Marketing Director, Mr. Daniel Lee. We are fortunate to have our speaker. He is Raja Sastry, a chemical engineer and professional sustainability consultant, as well as the Baden Tan, Director of Green Council. They will be sharing their experts on the journey towards ESG and carbon neutral. I hope that today you will be benefit, and please welcome to prepare your Q&A, because as I mentioned, for the latest news, our local authority, they are implementing this requirement for us to comply with neutrality, especially. So today will be a session that you might have a lot of questions, you might get the answer from the speakers. Without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. Daniel Lee, Sales and Marketing Director of Alcom, to come up and share a few words with us. Thank you.
Thank you. So I hope everyone, let me give you all a heads up. I will be throwing two questions to all of you before even we face the speaker. And the reason is because I hope that these two questions can align our thoughts up, right? And we can focus on what we can learn from them. But at the same time, please make them work very hard. Question them left and right and center, please. So I will start with the interaction. Again, good morning, everyone. It's been a year since we were last on ESG. Last year we were here. And I want to start that interaction with one question. Can I have a show of hands? Who amongst us are here last year? A show of hands if you are here last year. Wow. Quite a number. We have a new crowd. Welcome. Welcome to our forum today, which is a theme. Journey towards ESG and carbon neutral. Right? I want to take this opportunity as well to thank PAN Council, Northern Chapter. They've invited us twice over 2 years. It's a privilege to be here. For the Council, thank you so much for inviting us, trusting us and being our partner. We are privileged because we get to go through you to all the architects in the Northern Chapter. Okay, I want to start by going back to last year. Many of you are not here. Last year we explored and covered about, firstly, what is planetary health. Planetary health in the sense that, and also we covered about what is this ESG, what are the legal aspects, the timeline where this legality kicks in which part of the world. We covered about, very importantly, how ESG influences our lifestyles, our lives and business. So these are the ones that we broadly covered last year. Okay, and I remember that I closed with this statement, and this is the statement that is important, right? And that statement is architects. Most of you are architects, and I can say these architects are not the ones who design very nice buildings, landscape, not that. That is given. I said last year for my statement, architects are not just the ones who give us a very nice home to stay in. Not that. Architects are also not limited to the people who set the culture for mankind. In fact, through history, age and time, all of you are the ones who are the catalysts of civilization. Says this saying, if you're very powerful and influential, if the more you are, then the more accountable you must be. So there comes my first question for everyone at this era and time. Simple question, please hold it to your thoughts. What are we doing about ESG today? That's my first question that I leave with you for now. Alright? I want now to just give everyone some reports of what ESG, how ESG is affecting the world. I will start the report with three things. Number one, what is happening with alcohol. Right? Number two, I'm sure all of you are curious to know what's happening outside of Malaysia. And I will use the leader in the region, example, Europe and US, to give you all a feel. Curious, what are they doing? How is it affecting their business? Number three, I was out of Malaysia for a whole month last month, almost a whole month. I was in US, Mexico, Europe, basically meeting partners, clients, and talking so much about ESG and AI. And I want to share one of my observations that stood out. These are the three reports. So let's go to the first report, Alcon. The last 15 months, we continue to be very actively participating in conferences. Three elements: we participate in conferences in learning, we learn. We participate in sharing, we share. And we participate in speaking. Right? And it's on the topic of AI and ESG. That's how we work. Right? And in that part of doing so, I bring you on to that part that we are also very actively participating in contests, and in the contest, I pull out two, and I want to go with the also part of the certification. Is it moving already? Okay. Okay, so if you see at the first, the slides here, up here, AIBP, which stands for actually ASEAN Innovation Business Platform, is a contest on AI, but related to ESG. The judges is from our neutral neighbor, Singapore. They don't participate, but they are actually the organizer, the judges. It's for 5 countries around ASEAN, namely Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, and Malaysia. 100 over contestants. This is the first contest that I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. The second one is with the star. This is not 100 over contestants, this is a few hundred. Okay? Now going back to this AI BP, the collective revenue or turnover for these 100 over contestants exceeds Ringgit Malaysia 400 billion. So I want to say yes, 400 billion Ringgit Malaysia. That makes us at Alcom feel like we are the smallest fish in the ocean. Sorry, we are really very small compared to the contestants. But I also want to say that we are very privileged and honored because why? You look at the names, we are actually competing against people like Petronas, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, Sarawak Energy, Aeon, Maybank, Axiata. We are in the likes of them. That's the first one that we are competing. Right? Now, second part here, it goes the same, just to give you the context, these two competitions. This is definitely ESG, this is AI to ESG. Now I give you all the results. And it's very fresh for us as well, just less than 3 weeks ago. For AIBP, we have been informed 2 weeks ago, we are in the finals. Finals means we represent Malaysia, only 4, and throughout the region now in the finals, less than 15. Okay? The next one that I would like to share with everyone is here, ESG. For the star, we have been informed that we have won the award in the category of transformation. Now this transformation is a radical and it's actually, thank you. It's something that is special because why? The judges would need to see and observe that within the company there has been radical investments and execution of ESG. Now outside of the company, we have always wanted, our passion brings us to become opinion leaders to influence the industry. Now in August this year, apart from these two, we will know that whether from being a final we win anything or not. Right? Also in August this year for this ESG, although we have won the Transformation Award, we have won that, whether generally we can win another award. We are hopeful for it. Right? Just to give everyone that context. Next is a certification. Now if you were here last year, you would have heard me say a certificate that is very relevant to ESG. This is a testimony, this is like the IC. You have this certificate, you have the IC. Or rather, I would say at least a degree, if not a PhD. You don't have this cert, you can sing all your songs, but actually you are not qualified. Right? This certificate is called Product Carbon Footprint Certification. And last year it was work in progress. Again, 2 months ago, we have achieved this certification. Now, what does this mean to us in Alcom? We have ascertained that actually we are the first one to achieve this certification, Product Carbon Footprint Certification, within the steel and aluminium industry of similar products. We are also the first one to achieve this certification from CIRIC. Alright? What does this mean? This certificate qualifies us to calculate the carbon footprint, the carbon emission of all our processes, inclusive of the processes of our suppliers, way all to the original form. So I want you to do this called gate to cradle all the way to the bauxite mines where they start to dig out the alumina. Right? So we do all this for our processes and we can now tell, okay, this is the carbon emission, how much. Right? Secondly, this is going to be applied for all our products. All products will come with this calculation. We can quantify, we are certified and legal to do so. Right? So this is the progress of Alcom. Next, I want to talk about outside of Malaysia. Let me bring you to Europe, right, which is the leading region. In Europe, I just came back. Let me tell you that their way of ESG is very disruptive. By 1st of January 2027, if EU and the countries don't do anything, everything goes as planned. Every single corporate identity in Europe will have to pay carbon tax. Right? They cannot escape. Now, this carbon tax applies to plastic, to steel, to services, to transport, how much carbon emission your transporter emits, aluminium, everything is carbon. Supply chain, the whole supply chain. So everyone cannot escape. I want to use aluminium as the basis, just to give you a gauge. My kind of product, the cost up is 60% average. I can tell you for plastic, concrete, it's going to be much more worse. Right? Because the carbon emission is higher. Right? So 60% up, no one fella can afford this. Now, I just returned, I can tell you, only 25 to 30% of the corporate community, the big giants, they are the ones who have woken up from the slumber. They are now frantically looking for technological advancements to avoid this cost. But they find that, okay, the daylight is very near, they are panicking. But I also want you to know on the flip side, 70% or so of the corporate and the community still sleeping, haven't panicked yet, right? Now, across the Atlantic, if you go to US, United States, what's going on? They don't have disruptive carbon tax plan and whatnot. Not Biden, not Trump, I would say that, not yet. But they have been gradually introducing new legal requirements in participation of B&C, building and construction industry. Right? What do I mean by that? I'll give you an example. Energy consumption. They have laws, they have ratings, they have requirements to say energy consumption of a building
and particularly the electrical appliances that is going to be within the building. If you do not meet these ratings, unfortunately, you do not qualify to quote and participate in medium to high volume projects. Sorry, you're out. Now this brings me to the second question that I want to jog everyone with. This second question is, what are we going to do with our business? Are we going to be left behind on this ESG? Or worse, are we going to be left out in the cold? Right? Are we going to, I would say, do something about this? Or going to be the infamous Malaysians? Last minute, knee-jerk, ineffective, half-baked, cannot use kind of solution because deadline comes, simply do. Are we going to be there? Or we take the alternative of taking serious actions to counter the record heat, the flash floods, the shortage of food that will come because of all these catastrophes? Are we going to do that for our children? So let me put the two questions in one. The first question I asked was this. Please put them at the back of our mind so that we can face our Balan and also our Raja later. The first one, what are we doing with ESG? The second one, are we doing this, taking on this ESG for our business, so it does well? Or are we doing it for the next generation, our children? Because if you're doing it for that, there will be some pain. I leave this part with you. Now I tell you about an observation that is, it came and hit me quite hard during my travel around to Europe and Japan. I want to bring you to the attention of Americans and Europeans. Seriously, they are intensely engaged when you talk about ESG and AI with. I had that experience when I was sharing with them, talking to them. And these are seriously huge companies. Medium-sized companies that I talk to, they come to Malaysia, they are twice the biggest of the giant in Malaysia already. But I talk to quite a number of them. They take out their notes, these are Americans. They take out their book notes, they start recording, wow, what is this on? And then they will ask questions in the detailed form, very structured. Can you tell me this? How does this work? I don't understand. They are intensely seeking for all this information. This experience has been very inspiring for me personally, but it's also very humbling. Let me tell you why. Inspiring because they were awed by the information we shared with them. They were like, wow, I didn't know that, I'm learning this. But at the same time humbling because, especially in US and America, I realized many of them don't even know where Malaysia is. And I can sum up for you here. I felt that my conclusion is they were more taken aback by the fact that they are learning from this small little aluminium mill from Malaysia. I will come back to this in a short while. Now I have a bigger task. I'm supposed to introduce our speaker today. I want to move there. And for that purpose, I have been given a challenge by my colleagues. They tell me, Daniel, can you introduce the speaker in 6 statements? So I told myself, I think I better bring a big piece of paper and read it out of respect of him. Right? So bear with me. Yeah? Our speaker, he is a technologist. He is also an adjunct professor with UTM, and Malaysia Japanese International Institute of Technology. He is a chemical and waste expert, particularly in the environmental management, and he has influenced Malaysia's ESG landscape. Who does he work with? He works with, let me tell you, the Department of Environment. He works with SIRIC, in fact he trains SIRIC. He works with DNB, right? He works with Academy of Science. He works with SPAN. By the way, SPAN is Suruhanjaya Perkhidmatan Air Negara. So he's involved in the filtration, the conservation, the cleanliness of water and whatnot. He does a lot of audits there, right? He recently has been also absorbed into the Ministry of Economics to talk about ESG for Malaysia's economic progress. He has the whole thing that he has shown me, and it's powerful, right? Now, because of all this, obviously he is very well sought for. Giants like Petronas will be looking up, coming after him. He goes around Malaysia in a very busy schedule and normally as keynote speaker on ESG. Doesn't stop one day is Penang, one day is Johor, everywhere. But one thing I must say, Raja, I don't think that you're doing enough internationally. I will tell you why. Right? Now, having said that, that's where it is, but the honor for us is that our speaker has chosen to be Elcom's consultant. And yes, he gets to choose us. We were hoping that he would. And we feel the honor, and we suspect the reason of it is because of our alignment in our investments, our aspiration, and our vision. Now, we're very thankful of his decision to choose us. Today, I think all of us should be thankful as well because he has agreed to share. Right? My colleagues are here. I can see only one or two. I just want to say this is 5 statements. I leave the last 6 statements here. I want to go back to my travels. Okay? I go back to my travels because why? I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of speakers, international speakers, European speakers, and technologists, just like our speaker today. But I must say that I concluded that he is one of those well above many other speakers internationally. Right? But just like Elcom, he is a full, grown, and bred Malaysian. Now, how about that? How about the honor of having one of us here, like going to Olympics in Paris and having a chance of gold medal? This is where the difference is. Okay? I have looked through his, I had the privilege of sneak preview of his contents, sharing later. I can admit that I actually want to run down and join all of you, sit there, and start learning all over from him again. Right? Now, it is great delight for me now to invite him. And before that, I want to say thank you to all of you. Let's enjoy our learning, and remember, let's be interactive about it. So let me call upon our speaker today. Let us put our hands together. Welcome Malaysian and technologist Raja Sazrin Shah. All to you.
Thank you, Daniel, for the kind introduction. Put me under the bus somehow. Right, so just to get the acknowledgements, meeting, sponsor, Elcom, and Daniel for introducing me later the next speaker. And all of you for sparing your Saturday morning in one sentence only. Kepo lah, right? Go here and there, talk about ESG, very much kepo, right? But this is something of a passion for me lah. So it has been something I would say easy and natural. Okay, so before we go into my slides, what Daniel didn't mention about the ESG, Star ESG Award on Transformation is that what was the statement that won, that made Elcom won the Transformation Award? The statement that was given by our CEO, Elcom CEO, I'm part of the family, you guys, I'm saying we, our. Alright, the CEO says we want to transform the company by making Elcom by 2025 a net gain industry. And this is something many people would not just say a transformation, many people would say also praising. The aluminium industry, as many of you might know, is an energy intensive, it's an energy hungry industry. So saying that you want to go net gain is something really, really out of the box. And the description of that and the efforts that are already in the pipeline, that was the in here. Got a corner here. If you like. Alright? So now to my slides. This was. Sudah. Macam pandai kan tak pandai. So, I'm a chemical engineer by profession and a professional sustainability consultant. Professional is self-claimed. I think a lot of sustainability consultancies, they are professional, right? I think we are all professional. But I talk about sustainability, therefore I self-qualify myself as professional. Okay? What does it say there is I'm also a vegetarian because I care about animals in the environment, which explains my crazy blue shoes. Right? So I've given up animals 10 years ago. I don't eat them and I don't wear them either. That explains the shoes like this. So the title of the talk today is actually Journey Towards ESG and Carbon Neutral. The aluminium lining of the story, let's say the single lining. So it's called to say the aluminium lining. So because the ticket in the hotel was paid by alcohol today, so I will put aluminium into context. There's so many things that I can talk about understanding this morning, but I choose to talk about aluminium because it makes a good case study for where we are going when we're talking about decarbonization. Why so quiet? Give me some energy. Alright? So, I know we have question and answer later, so you feel free to write it down now. And as Danny said, make me run for the money. Ask me as many questions as you want. So, we had dinner yesterday, pre-event dinner. I was with Baylor. So he told me don't cover the ESG because he's talking about ESG. So I'm not talking about ESG. Up to mutual agreement now behind the scenes. Okay? So I will talk about climate change instead. So climate change is one of the reasons that everyone is talking about ESG nowadays. So what causes climate change? Of course we cause climate change. So the Masaleh with their clever words, they might say anthropogenic contribution, which actually means things that are coming from men, you and me and everyone else. So what are the impacts of climate change? Right? Before we go into the impacts, we have this animal talk, right? So Bailey has his own animal, everyone has their own animal spirit. I'm going to start by asking you, when was the last time you saw them? So that's the question that I always ask everyone. When was the last time you saw them? Some of you may live in slightly more natural areas, right? In Penang, there's still you live on the mainland. There's still a lot of plants and trees and areas that are green. So you might have a little bit of a more luck compared to us that live in urban areas. So many of us would say they will pause and start to think. So what if we don't see a bee? Some of them can't even remember when was the last time we saw a bee. So a couple of years back, when I had this realization, I went to the nursery and I asked the guy who was selling the plant, can I have a pollinating, flowering plant in my garden? So he sold me a plant, a vine that has pink flowers. So I tanya dia, apa nama pokok ni? Dia cakap, air mata pengantin. I was like, what is that name? I got a creative name. So I don't know the Latin name or the scientific name, but it's a vine that grows out with nice pink flowers and it actually grows out pollinators like bees. So now I see bees every day and it gives me a little bit of assurance. I'm not a freak or crazy because I'm going to tell you why the roles of why bees are important. Because you then ask me, what the hell, right? I mean, why do we need to see bees? I think when we were little, when we were younger, right? When we were younger, if we went to Pasar Malam, Pasar Ramadan, when people were selling those cordial and syrups, bees were always hovering kan kat air gula tu. We don't see that anymore. Do you notice? So what is the role of bees? We had a cartoon where they were trying to show how bees make the world go round. Actually, a lot of sense in what it is. So bees pollinate plants, basically, and trees, and it causes the plants to be able to propagate and reproduce. And trees play an important role in the movement of water and nutrients in the world. Okay. In the world, right? So because of that, bees contribute to how plants function. And plants play an important role to the movement of water and nutrients in the world. And how is that important? This actually contributes to the movement of carbon in the world through the carbon cycle, which means that it contributes to climate change by looking at how carbon dioxide moves in the world. Right? So is that important? Yes? So carbon dioxide is actually one of the drivers of climate change right now. Right? Is it a pollutant? It's not. This is the thing. There's no law that says carbon is a pollutant. Until recently, many governments are not looking into carbon dioxide emissions. Right? Then it started in Europe when we realized that carbon dioxide is a problem. How is it a problem? If it's not pollutant. If it's a pollutant, then it's alright. Every time we exhale, it asks us to get a good return. It'll be a problem for all of us. We will have scrubbers installed on our noses and things like that. It'll still be a problem for us, right? But it's not. Right? So what are we afraid of? What are we afraid of when we talk about climate change? Is it cold here now? Right? So when it's cold here, it's probably about 16, 17, maybe 20 degrees Celsius. When we go outside, it's 31, right? If it's not, it's 36. We're talking about the difference of 10 degrees, 8 degrees. Did it kill us? It doesn't. So why are we afraid of climate change? Mak Saleh pun ada problem with the scientists. We talk about United Nations. What was the publication that they made? If anyone of you know. It's 1.5 degrees, right? They were talking about 1.5 degrees. Then we go, 1.5 degrees. How is that scary? Are we going to melt? 1.5 degrees? No, right? No, 1.5 degrees is not going to cause us to melt. So what is the deal? What is the deal? When we cross 1.5 degrees, climate scientists believe that this is when we will see changes that are occurring in the world that are irreversible. Irreversible means what? Cannot fix that. What are the examples of irreversible changes? Extinction of animals, right? This is irreversible. Unless you watch Jurassic Park and Josh Hammond finds some mosquito inside some tree set, right? Then it's reversible, right? But unless that happens, it's irreversible. What else is irreversible? The sea level, ice melt, glacier melting, right? You cannot tell, hey China, can you build a big fridge so we can put it over the glacier to grow the glacier back? Tak boleh. Cannot. So this is irreversible. So what is the value of a glacier? What is the value of a glacier? It's aesthetic, is it? All of you are architects. Is it for the aesthetics? Maybe, perhaps not. Tengok putih tu, let it go. Let it go. Right? So is that the value? No, there is other things at play. There is other things at play. So kalau glacier ni, where do we find the glaciers? Greenland lah. The Greenland glaciers is someone that people are talking about, right? So how much ice is melting from there? Right? How much ice? 20,000 tons. Is that a lot? How fast? 20,000 tons? Per month? Per week? Per day? Per hour? Per minute? Per minute is in the lama. It's actually per second. That's how much ice is going into the ocean. Right? Is that a lot? Okay, never mind lah. I always say, forget about Greenland. Football team also not so good, right? Leave it, let it melt. So what if everything melts? We let Greenland melt. If Greenland melts, it's 5 meters of sea level. So in KL, I would say, not so much of a problem lah. Helcom, inshallah, maybe slight problem lah, banjir sikit lah. Penang, is it a problem? Where do you need to run to be safe if the sea level rises by 5 meters? Jelutong okay or not? Cannot there. Have to go to air dam. Maybe lah, architect pandai. Right? Maybe opportunity for you lah to start building some estates, right? I don't know. So I heard the Narita airport was on stilts, so right? Kansai Narita airports, they were on stilts. Wonders of architecture. Okay? So, Greenland is not really where the main ice is right now. Where is the main ice? North Pole. Next animal there. The North Pole. If we let North Pole melt, how much ice, how much sea level are we talking about? 70 meters. Penang in trouble. Maybe less Penang kita. I don't know. Nak naik kita pilih. Kurang. Susah kan? But still not finished. We have the South Pole. How much ice there? 150 meters of sea world. Everyone in trouble. Right? But I guarantee you, we will see none of this. Why? Before that, we are long mati sudah. Why? The recent problem with nuclear reactors. Fukushima. Right? Fukushima had a problem. There were radioactive leaks going into the ocean. But where people scared? People scared in Korea, right? But people were scared in the US, in India, in the Middle East, and up in Europe, so far away. Why you people? Right? The sea is magic. You put something there, it's diluted everywhere. Who's stirring this? Some man with 6-pack and a fork. Got that? Poseidon ke apa namanya? Is it? No. Ada, right? So what happened? How does the sea mix itself? There's no mixer. Current. Current comes from where? Got pump down there. Helcom installed. Is it? No. The current is also by thermal it's actually from the ice melting. When ice freezes, it actually expels the salt. When it expels the salt, the water around becomes more saline. And more saline water is more dense, heavy, therefore it sinks into the deep ocean. And the displacement of this water causes the lighter water to move. That's actually what's happening. And cause the world to face the mix, the ocean to mix around, the ocean currents. So kalau kita kacau, if we make the disturbance in those ice, it's going to be a big problem. So what is the problem really? Are we scared? What are we scared of? Will the world just kembang and go pop? No. A recent example that will put things in context. Chernobyl. We all heard about Chernobyl, right? What happened in Chernobyl? Problem with the nuclear reactor. There were some leaks and some failures and whatnot. Orang putih pandai, right? What did they do? What do we all do when we make a boo-boo at home, when we were young? Right or not? We had newspapers then. All of you still remember what newspapers are? We used to read that. Right now we bungkus only. Bungkus also tak ada sekarang, right? So we put the newspaper on top. That's what they did in Chernobyl. Don't know what to do, they built something canggih called sarcophagus. No, it's actually a big bowl. Tak tahu nak buat apa, tutup dulu 100 years, we go and check later. That's what happened in Chernobyl. But my point of my story is, lately, last year and before, you see pictures of Chernobyl popping up. Perasan? Different pictures popping up in your social media, right? Clearly we don't have Social media ni pandai tau. You tengok klik macam tu, I was told lah. Tengok klik, they know you are interested. So what they are showing you, that's what you're interested in lah, apparently. So kalau you nampak banyak kucing-kucing, maknanya you suka kucing. Kalau naik yang limau nipis tu, maknanya you suka makan lah. That lady cooking, it's called limau nipis or something. Right? So mine, actually the picture of Chernobyl came out. So Chernobyl now, what do you see? You see buildings covered by trees and plants growing. And there were observations of small species of horse that were stopped to be extinct and some species of foxes that come out. What does this tell us? It looks very happy, you know, like a very resort-like looking, like a bit scary and haunted lah, but anyway, it looks nice. What does this tell us? It's not the world that we are hurting. It's us. We cannot live there. Animals okay aja, pokok okay aja. The earth is fine. So, what are we protecting? Really, what are we protecting? The earth and the lifestyle as we know it now. The earth is not going to go pop. No. It's the way we live that's going to be affected. Right? The animals will go extinct. But other animals will come. Who cares? Right or not? It's just us. We will be affected. Bruno, you know uniquely when we went to school, what did we learn? Ulang makan kata. Right? Oh, you get bahasa, right? Can I? Ini masalah ya. No masalah. Okay. Ulang makan kata, ulang makan ulang. When something disturb the kata population, what happens? The helang suffers. Right? We learned this in school. Right? We went to the same school? No. But now, somehow or other, there's the animal chain, right? The food chain. Right? Do you know, human is the only species on earth that has graduated itself from the food chain. Did you know? That's why our population tripled in the last lifetime. In 1920, we now tripled. Because, habis kata kita makan ular, habis ular kita makan ayam, habis ayam kita makan itik, habis itik kita makan daging buah, habis kita makan kambing, it never stops. Right? Habis semua tu kita buat pula vegetarian food. Kita makan for example. Right? So that's the issue. So what are we afraid of actually? You tengok, the thing that we are afraid of, food and water security, us, selfish statements. Right? We are afraid of human health, us, selfish statement. Again, economies and society losses, damages to nature and people. Right? Remember, so jangan cakap I'm trying to save the earth. Kalau pun tak tahu. Kalau kita boleh kan? Sakasar sikit. Right? So it's always us. We're trying to save ourselves. Don't sound so selfish. So right, lately can I go and talk about tree planting, right? Right? When we go out, we plant trees, correct? And we plant trees somehow that actually fuels our soul. We feel a little bit good. So what do we do? How big is the tree we plant? Right? So what is the role of the tree? What is the role of the tree? Yang top went up, lot nanti mangrove up in Selangor. Well done. Right? So, what did we do? I just want to tone it down a little bit because don't feel like we planted trees and you wash your hands of all your sins. No. We plant trees, what does trees do? I want to show this selfishness again. What does trees do? Why did we plant a tree? Absorb carbon lah, betul tak? How does it absorb carbon? Photosynthesis. What does photosynthesis do?
Oxygen.
Produce oxygen. The most selfish answer. The earth doesn't need oxygen. You need oxygen. Because no oxygen, mati lah. So I said, what are we teaching our children? So apparently, this carbon dioxide is absorbed during photosynthesis and it generates C6H12O6 sugar. Planting sugar, ikamlah batang pokok, akar pokok, daun and all that. That's the sequester part. Carbon dulu, now turn to sugar, now turn to batang pokok and it stops. That's what we're doing. Removing the carbon from the air into the batang pokok, putting it there. But again, di tanam pokok besar mana? So the mass that it accumulates, that's the sequestration that we need. So on the average, you're talking about 20-30 kilo a year pokok lah. Your average emission berapa? So this is why lah. So Elcom need to tanam every year about 500,000 pokok per month, sorry, not every year. So they're going to set up a division, tree planting division. Because it's not the solution. I'm just pouring a little bit of water, but don't let it distinguish because it is not the solution, but it is a solution. Keep doing it, but don't just do that. Do more things. Which is why we leave that to the aunties and uncles who can do that. But we are professionals. I'm an engineer, you're all architects. Your decision drive more significant change. This is what I'm trying to cover today. Now, I thought Danny cakap lama juga. Okay, so what happened actually when we look at greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, as you can see, over 1850, this is, we're talking about 100 years, it has increased by 100 ppm, and methane has increased, and nitrous oxide has increased. What does this do? It causes the global warming, not the climate change. I need another half an hour to talk about climate change. I'm not going to cover that. If you're interested, follow me on LinkedIn. Self-promotion. Okay? But again, the greenhouse gas emissions are rising. What happened actually? This is something of a trend. Kita tak nampak sangat. Over here you see a trend. It went up, suddenly it shot up. This is the great acceleration. What happened? About 70, 80 years ago, about 100 years ago lah, one smart man dig a hole. Apa dia nampak? Something black. Well, no. The hard one and the soft and the oil and the oil lah, the liquid one. What did he do? Like any man, when you find something you don't know, he set fire. Right? So dia kata, boleh nyala lah. Well, no. So that's how they changed. How the man thought of harnessing this energy. Now I can bring fire wherever I go. And from there, they translated into mechanical energy and somehow electricity. We are a species that don't consume food, but we consume energy. That's our chain now. We are hungry for energy all the time. Wars are waged for energy. It's matter energy. What do you do first when you open your eyes in the morning? You flip the switch. Right? Yang berapa tu lah, ada orang flip switch, ada orang kat handphone dulu. Anyway, it's all energy. Have you ever thought about that? Right? So that's what we are, energy hungry. So, this is the temperature lah that I was talking about, 1.5 degrees. And actually, all the abatement and stopping 1.5 degrees that has been people are talking about, I have a sad news for you. Last year, in October, we crossed 1.5 degrees. So the actions need to be faster. We need to put more things. We need to do more things. At the same time, as I was driving from Bayan Lepas to Amari, we saw a lot of buildings coming up in Penang. We can't help but feel proud. But this needs to be balanced. We need to understand what are the damages. How can we make this less painful? Right? So that's the question that we need to ask. I'm not one of those environmentalists who say, no, stop, go, pergi pakai pesawat di hutan, no. That won't work. We need to fix it. We need to solve the problem. Okay. So, now saya nak cakap, dia punya sustainability. Same picture, what does it mean? So the solution, the answer to the problems that I have mentioned just now is sustainability. So what is sustainability? Sustainability is meeting our needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The orang putih way of saying things lah. But actually, the easier way to translate it is, what you do now, you damage later, that's it lah. Penyangat sekarang, jangan penyangatkan itu, jangan sampaikan. Itu saja. Right? So, we need to look into preserving the environment. But at the same time, we need to develop ourselves. We cannot just protect the environment because who protects the environment? Who protects the environment? Really, who protects the environment? Who is making an impact? Businesses, right? The money is coming from the business. These are the people who put things up, protect the environment. So, means you need to balance it with this. If you just look at this, without this, the businesses will die. Dan siapa nak pergi buat? Kita pergi tanam pokok je lah. It's not going to work, right? So therefore, when we do this and balance with this, the social is also getting something because we feel happy, right? We go back, we can sleep some. So it's a balance really. And you have to have balance between environment and economy so that you have sustainable economic development. Companies need to grow. You have to balance the environment and the social so that the nature and the built environment will become sustainable. This is where you come in. Right? Apa yang tengok juga arkitek kadang-kadang dia punya green building tu banyak pokok di dalam tu dah. Is that true? What constitutes a green building? I need to ask also sometimes. Right? The painting green? What else is happening? Put more trees, more planter box in the lobby. Right? Is it? Lower air conditioning, energy consumption, maybe more natural lighting. Wait, no natural lighting. No ventilation also. Okay? So, and then balance the economy and the social so that we get more billionaires. Right? Right lah. One more response. I was asking yesterday how to get the people to respond. So we are trying to go through now. So I'll keep the dirty jokes for the last one. Okay. It seems like got some response. Okay, let's go to some of the more technical things like the role of minerals in decarbonization. So, minerals actually contribute to the global economy. Things that we dig out of the earth. And this is important because minerals play a fundamental role in economic growth. What does that mean? What's the mineral that's driving economic growth in Malaysia? We have bauxite, one ton, aluminium, right? Just to be in context. And other minerals as well. We have gold, we have oil. All these are coming from the earth. Tin, yes, tin is an important mineral, right? That's how Kuala Lumpur was set up, right? As a tin mine. Ingat tak? Biji timah. Timah itu apa? We forget. Where do you see tin now? What is tin? The periodic cycle. Plumber, remember anybody? Yeah, plumber. I think kalau around our age tu ingat tak, the kids don't know. So we need to remind ourselves where things are and what things are. And other things out of context. I mean, you ask your children, some of you may have your children of your own. Don't be surprised, sometimes they don't know a chicken is actually a chicken. I spoke at the university once. You know, I asked the audience, the young generation, recent graduates, I asked, what fish do you know? What do you think the answer was? The first one. Fish. Bukan cincaru, bukan kembung, tuna. Nombor dua? Salmon. Inilah ikan-ikan Malaysia. Okay? Makan pun tak tahu. Kakak ikan kembung, ikan cincaru, ikan mega, ikan selah kuning. Banyak, right? So many fish. Ikan bawal. No, don't know. Sayur. Sayur. Right? We used to learn this in school. Sayur. What was the sayur? Fortunately, the first that came up, sawi. After that, broccoli. Asparagus. So I don't know. Is this a problem? It might be a problem. We're talking about behavior. So, mining and minerals actually, how it actually drives the global economy? Because every dollar spent on a mine generates $2 $1.80 elsewhere in the economy. We call this multiplier effect. Because the minerals that are extracted are being refined. It becomes raw materials of other products. Okay, so that's what happens. And if you look at the clean energy technologies, all this require minerals. It requires metals to be dug out of the earth. Unless all of your architects can start to make the windmills out of bulu. Can I? Can that work? Maybe, I don't know. If you can start making the wind turbines and the windmills out of bamboo and some sort of you're going to need this mineral. Which is why I took this picture, I added on. When people say extraction of mineral or mining, this is the picture that you imagine. A lot of destruction. But is it required? This is why I'm introducing lately a model of return on value, which is why I'm talking to the government to see how we can leverage. Which is why when we were talking about sustainable mining, some of us use the word sustainable mining. Some of the politicians melupa macam cacing dalam kepala kadang. Just to get some traction. But really, sustainable mining or responsible mining, I don't give a damn about the semantics and the definition of the word. Because as professionals, we shouldn't waste our time debating on what means what. We should be going down on the ground, fixing things, getting results. That's what we should do. For example, dalam cakap-cakap orang putih di Europe, they introduced the European Union's Critical Raw Materials Act, which allows more mining to happen in Europe. Because they realize after they mine and cause all the destruction and then finish, then they ask people to mine. Now they realize they are being controlled by countries like China because they don't have raw materials. And they introduced this done. And oops moment for them right now. Now they have to get control over their raw materials. This is why this came up. Do have a look at it. Right? It's actually to also create benchmark by 2030 so that they are sustainable. Right? So that's what's happening. But again, aluminium. I thought this is 10 minutes into the talk, but I've got 5 minutes time. I'm going to take 10 minutes and ignore the 5 minutes. Right? So, aluminium comes from the extraction of bauxite from the earth. Right now. So after that, it goes into alumina refining and it goes into primary metal sorting. Metal smelting. Smelting. Mine into the steel. So susah nak cakap sikit, right? So the extraction already had mining just now. You saw the picture, right? So this involves a lot of fuel consumption, a lot of land clearing. Again, this is the carbon emission here, right? And then alumina refining, you have your beneficiation, your extraction, and then you create your aluminium hydroxide. Then you precipitate that into a crystal, a lot of energy. And then it goes to smelting, where it actually consumes carbon rods as in the process to release carbon dioxide, and it goes through an electrical process and consumes a lot of electricity until you get ingots, right? Then these ingots goes into processing, into factories like Alcom and such, rolling, manufacture, becomes a product, and it becomes, air conditioning, anything. Then it goes into a loop which we are imagining. Before it was a straight cycle, it goes into waste. Now we are trying to take control of this by sorting the scrap and putting scrap into the raw material. That's what we're doing. Why? Are we crazy? No. Because when we're looking at it, this part here covers 90 to 95% of the carbon emissions. This is why companies like Alcom say, okay, not a supply chain problem. I'm going to wrangle this problem. So this is why Alcom say, okay, we are going to recycle our scrap. Right? So that's the solution. That's where intellects like us makes decisions, impactful decisions. Screw the 90%. control the 90% supply chain emissions. Elcom took control over the supply chain emissions. The scope 3 emissions lah kalau orang cakap, right? So, how is this happening? And how can, why did I pick aluminium? Why did a lot of people pick aluminium? Because the idea just now, this idea actually is a special characteristics of many minerals, and Elcom is one of them. Aluminium can be recycled repeatedly. It's a perpetual recycle stream. It's a perpetual recycle loop. So it is circular economy lah yang kita cakap circular economy. So this is it, right? And taking control over the 90%, recycling of aluminium only requires about 5% of the energy needed compared to the primary or virgin imports. Point number 1. Point number 2. Aluminium is corrosion resistant and has high strength to weight ratio, right? Which makes it suitable for building materials that are in places like Penang, right? Your convention center nak buat fasad and all this, choose the aluminium. You go overseas, esok car dia berkarat. I know, because of the salt from the sea. So you have your corrosion prone. So aluminium is not, it's corrosion resistant, right? So Penang got a lot of potential. And then aluminium has some characteristics of superior reflectivity and conductivity, which makes it a good building material as well, as roofing and whatnot. You require less rock wool, right? So this is the thinking we want. Can lah over the weekend go and tanam pokok, not wrong. But how does this get translated into the evaluation criteria of your green building? Right? 4 minutes, 1 minute long, 4 minutes, right? That's what we need to talk about. That's where maybe I can keep book, even though I'm not an architect, I can come and help you out. Right? If you need me, just call to see whether this needs to be looked at. Because I saw, like in the BREEAM, is that how you say? The BREEAM and your LEED. We are talking about all these materials and sustainability, but the quantification can be done better. It can look beyond the life cycle. How the effects can be now, and how you can look at effects going beyond the horizon, 10 years, 50 years, and how does it contribute to the decarbonization of the world? That should get some weightage and some marks in your evaluation. Okay? Alright, and then of course, low density and all that, which makes us corrosion resistant and durable. This is just because of technology. In theory, aluminium is 100% recyclable. It's not because of the other raw materials and impurities and things like that. So, why Elcom is good and why I like to work with Elcom, and they put up with me lah. I bagi some ideas, they can try the ideas lah, no matter how crazy it is. Okay, one of it is scrap usage. This is why I say wrangling the scope 3 emission. They took charge of the scope 3 emission because that's 90%. Right? And then of course, programs like the buyback programs. Buyback program, nampak tak? Buyback program. What's the technology in buyback program? There's no technology in buyback program. But it's actually a policy level implementation. It's a marketing level implementation, which allows for scrap to come back, which allows for recycling to happen, which promotes circular economy, which reduces carbon emissions and therefore contribute to the agenda of decarbonization and sustainability. This is where it is, and this is where it matters. Of course lah, to make money on the side is not a bad thing. Betul tak? Siapa nak buat tak nak buat? Recyclable as well, but aluminium is a good candidate. And then some other examples, technology like hydro and aquaponic, which Elcom is looking into as well, incorporating AI and automation to reduce. This is where I say the transformation to that you have 5% control. You didn't think that that's not important. Every emission counts. So, just an example, if you look at pilot plants and I suppose you got the is producing 4,100 tons of aluminium. Not so smart also, right? So put to the team. Right? Anyway, yeah, this is the technology that I was talking about, the carbon anode. Actually, so they are changing that into an inert anode so it doesn't produce carbon dioxide. You know what I'll do? I don't have much time to talk about it here now. Wait a couple of days, I'll turn this into an article. Follow me on LinkedIn, Ravish has Richard. I'll write this into an article if you're interested in reading it. Right? I'll give you a clear, simple explanation of what it is. If you're interested lah, I macam cakap ni, you're interested. Right? Are you waiting for the morning tea? Okay lah, 8 minutes ni boleh tahan sikit. Right? Okay, so what are we looking at? This is the second last slide. Last slide? Or is it last slide? Right? So, we're looking at improved recycling practices. Don't undermine recycling. Right? And then sustainable mining practices, maybe beyond health principle, but this is what I'm looking at. I'm actually working with the Department of Jabatan Mineral and Geoscience right now. We are looking at how we can extract minerals in a more sustainable, more responsible manner. Because as I mentioned just now, the argument is senang je. I think a lot of you during the EIE and all that, you have to face a lot of NGOs and things like that. You have to remind them sometimes. I'm not saying they are bad. They forget those wind turbines cannot run on bamboo. Fair or not? Maybe you can build one bamboo one lah, but if you can, so don't do. Because I know architect very pandai right? Lipat-lipat kertas jadi furniture. Right? I saw that. Kan, furniture yang kau itu kan, you all can do. But you can build wind turbine from bamboo, wait for a while. Don't tell them, don't give them that right idea. Anyway, clean energy is important. I think this one TNB is looking into it. Technological advancements. So industry plays a role, government plays a role, public plays a role. In the industry role, you need to look into commitment to sustainable practices. I mentioned about the green building index, the evaluation criteria, that's one thing that you can look. But how you drive what architects and how architects design in the future. This is what I'm talking about. The change in perception. Right? Kalau you put aesthetics and functionality next to aesthetics, functionality and contribution to decarbonization. So I think with that, I would like to thank all of you for your attention. If you do have any questions, I think there's a session for it to be after the second. Thank you very much.
This is a time, and it is actually happening. Planet has only until 2030 to stop catastrophic climate change, expert warns. We are the last generation on the planet who still have the opportunity to fight with global warming and climate change issues. We are the last generation. If we don't do that, don't hope the next generation can do it. Even they very wanted to do it, but they don't have any chance anymore because it's already too over. We are the last generation who still have the opportunity to fight with the global warming and climate change issues. I do hope you guys feel what I feel. We cannot save our poor Mother Earth without decarbonizing the building sectors. And global warming topics are so huge. Since today we are all as architects, okay? So decarbonizing the building sectors. We start from this. At least we start from this, okay? We are not saints, okay? I'm not God, okay? I'm not asking you guys to do perfect things, but at least we are in this industry. What actually we can do, okay? And telling my children, telling our children proudly that, you see, Baba, at least Baba as an architect, I already try my best to do for you, okay? So this is what I want you guys to feel. We cannot save our poor Mother Earth without decarbonizing the building sectors. Okay? So now, done with all the sad story, but it's a real fact story, okay? Then go to the very first topic, content of me today, ESG, okay? How many of you guys heard about ESG? Come. Don't scared by me. I won't ask you guys come and present. I don't ask you what is ESG. I just ask you whether you hear about ESG. Come. Okay, not even half of. Okay, that means there are many else. Had never heard about ESG. I feel excited when I heard about ESG because I see the impact of ESG moving the whole world. Okay, not only Malaysia, moving the whole world towards greener and more sustainable directions. So ESG, as its word, as its name, is a short form from three terminology. Okay, so environmental, social, and governance. So ESG is just a system. Okay, ESG is a system. Okay, how to measure the sustainability of a company or an investment in three categories, three aspects: environmental, social, and governance. I won't make it difficult to understand. I just want to share with you the ideas of ESG. So the whole thing talking about three things: environmental, social, and governance. Simple like this. Then next slide. What about that? So that is the whole development, and I borrow this slide from my guru here. Okay, correct me. You can immediately correct me if I say something wrong. So this is the whole evolution. Okay, from the 80s, we're talking about ESH. I never heard about ESH because I'm not that era person. Then you know how old I am. Frankly, I never heard about ESH. Okay, because I'm still a baby at that time. Then sustainability, yes. That is the time that I heard about sustainability. The very first time I heard about sustainability in my school time, I still remember at the age of 10, I'm actually standard 4. Since young, I love sustainability. I cut all the newspaper about all these topics and I still paste it. I still have a lot of booklets regarding all these topics. Okay, so then from there to CSR and the very recent one, start from 2020 onwards, the ideas of ESG come out. So this is how the evolution is. Yes, everybody know about this SDG goal, okay? Sustainable Development Goals with all these beautiful, colorful charts. It's total 17, okay? Because I did believe many of you guys just aware about this, but you don't even go deep into that. Please, okay, spend a little bit more minutes to go into that. But what I mean is, okay, personally, I do believe this is very important for the entire planet and human civilization. Okay, it is very important and very, very beneficial goal. Okay, making a better future for human. But practically, I do believe ESG, it works much better than SDG. This is my personal feeling. Simple step, how ESG work? Okay, ESG very related to finance. Why? Why very related to finance? Not so sure about you guys aware that almost all the banks and finance in our country. If you have any relationship about loans or collaboration together with the bank in terms of finance, nowadays, start from 2020, nowadays, they will issue you some condition, then they will ask you, are you actually related to ESG? Are you ESG compliant? Are you do something about ESG or not? I'm not so sure whether you guys are aware of this or not. Maybe you said, no, I'm rich enough. I don't even need to have any bank to with loan. But now I'm telling you guys a very happy tips. If you purchasing a green building, if you are buying a green building, buying a house, you guys much enough to offer to buy a house. When you purchase a green building, you can actually enjoy a better rate of housing loan. Because of all these ESG things. You see what I see or not? So the ESG actually using, I can't say using, but it's a very good channel, okay? By the pressures of finance, monetary, finance and loan, it makes the thing works. And because of that, all the international corporates and the big companies, okay, they can't get away from ESG. They seems like being forced, okay, to do something related to ESG. So as I say, today I'm not here to complicate you guys about ESG. I just wanted to send a very simple ideas to you guys. At least everybody in the hall know now, oh yeah, oh this is something about ESG. That is the ESG concept, okay? So yes, we're talking about environmental, social and governance. Don't talk more on this. I think you'll be more clearer, okay, when you see all the examples. So what I need to do, then I can consider myself ESG, okay? So there are some things that you can do. Actually, there are more than this. This is some of the examples, okay? The environmental part, the first one, E, is very direct. I did believe more of us here understand what actually on the environmental part. See, you're talking about climate risk, you're talking about greenhouse gases, talking about energy efficiency, talking about carbon reduction, you know, all this, whatever you do direct related to all this, you're actually part and parcel of the ESG E, okay? So then back to the S. S is something, I mean, for a big corporate, how they actually handle the social, internally or externally with the community. So there are more things, I mean, as I said, more than this, okay? Human rights, working condition, even your employee relationship between the bosses, the communication, how they work, or even how the company, okay, respond or react or related their company with the communities. So this is part and parcel that a corporate can do in order to comply with the S part. Then the G part, I always say the G part seems like nothing related to us, okay? But just for you guys' information as an architect, okay? So the G part is actually very direct to the organization structures of that particular company, the directors, the top management, okay? How the top management direct the company directions, okay? In all these good behavior practices, okay? So anti-laswa, you know, I'm clear and transparent in my taxation, all these things. This is all about the governance. So that set by the company director. So simple said, by looking at the whole ideas of ESG, they are actually doing something good for themselves, also for the whole community. Okay. So any question until now? No. So again, I'm not here today teaching you guys how to do an ESG report, but to give everybody an idea what actually is the ESG. So ESG used as a framework to assess how the company manage the risk and opportunity. Yeah, it's not about value, it's actually how the company manage the risk. Okay. So when they set all the goals, okay, the targets through the ESG, at least there is the direction towards in order to reduce the risk that they will face in future. As I say, not touching so deep in this because I'm going to elaborate more into low carbon buildings. Okay? So this is some of the reporting standards that we are using now. Raja, even until now Malaysia, we haven't come up with our own framework like. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just for you guys information, Bursa Malaysia, so all those listed company, okay, big guns, okay, they are actually compulsory to submit the ESG report to Bursa annually. So that means they need to do a very simple layman understanding. If let's say I am a listed company, simple say, okay, I wanted to do a project. Sunway is a listed company, am I right? It is. Okay, same second Sunway Group, something like this. When they develop, okay, when they do developments, So they need to purchase, okay. I want you guys to see the chain effect, okay, towards SME, towards smaller companies, enterprises, okay. So you need to show, are you, okay, ESG related company, in order for Sunway to take in you as a working partners, in order to secure the targets in their own, groups, ESG target. Okay. That the whole idea on the chain effect of the whole system. And that's why I said ESG is work. Because from the top, big guys, is actually directly related to all these supply chains from the SME towards in order to secure the ESG compliance. So this is some of the reporting formats that they can actually do towards to the Busan. From the ESG now, shift it to low carbon, and particularly in low carbon building. Okay, low carbon building. And this is some idea to you guys how to comply the local requirement. I know many of you guys, I heard from Guangzhou also, many of you guys very concerned about the compliance of the Shara, the 50% solar installations of the project, and also the certification, the green building certification, either silver, gold, or some is certified. Okay? It feels so sad how you guys look at me like that. I thought you guys should think, wow, after so many years, so there, the Dato Panda make a move, make a change to make the city cleaner, to make the city carbon reduction. I thought you guys should think like that, isn't it? Because try to imagine, once the Sharat come out, that means all the submission need to comply with the Sharat. In 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, all the buildings up is actually environmental friendly. All the buildings up is actually reduce energy consumption, reduce carbon emission. Don't you feel that this is something good for our city? Don't you feel that this is something good for Penang? So I am here today to telling you guys, try to look at the whole Shalat from a different perspective. In order to telling me that Belen cannot do, Belen very expensive, Belen is not like this, Belen the old days we never do this. That's why in the old days we never do this and it's global warming. In the old days we didn't do this, that's why the climate change happened. You get what I mean or not? So this is a time for us there to make a change. This is a time for us to rethink how actually we can help, okay, our own community, we can help our own Penang to moving forward, okay, to build a better living quality, living environment for the soon future. Green Building Index is the only international recognized green building measurement tools for Malaysia. Green Building Index, launched in year 2009, and it's actually the only Malaysian green building tools recognized under World Green Building Council. When we talk about green building, we refer to Green Building Council, and the highest council in the world, which is World Green Building Council, WGBC. Okay, I know there are many certifications in the market in Malaysia. I do know. Okay, but I just want you guys to understand that PEM, okay, we hold and we own GBI. It is also one of the more responsible for all the architects, okay, to support Green Building Index as a building measurement tools, where the recognizations of the tools is actually worldwide. If you notice that Malaysia Green Building Council is one of the established members under World Green Building Council. And if you go to World Green Building Council website, you can see Green Building Index, okay? That is actually the only recognized tools for Malaysia, okay? So measurement tools, this is something, and this is one of the 5 very famous green building tools in the world, okay? Where that is a very early started green building tools owned by UK, okay? Then LEED is one of the most famous green building too in world that owned by America, US. That's why I received some requests from my clients in Batu Kawan Industrial Zone. They are actually requesting me to help them to submit LEED certification from their own company policy. Even the state never forced them to build it in green, but their own policy, their own company policy already accepted it, and they need to build it in green no matter where they are in all over the world. So people are so far ahead when talk about sustainability, and you and me here keep continue discussing whether I can get waiver from the Shara or not. This is something we need to rethink, you know. People already moving so far. You see, Hong Kong government last year, I read a news, something from the Hong Kong news. Hong Kong government actually starting to implement laws on embodied carbon material. You know, they are talking about embodied carbon, you know, and we are here, the Shara seems very expensive. No. You see, the China government also last year on the steel industry, all those high energy intensive industry, they're putting a law, you know, they're really putting a law forcing them, you know, penalty them. But something good also, we in Malaysia, last year, November, the EECA, the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act already lulus dalam Dewan Rakyat, and it will become an act. So it's actually now the bill, they need some time, okay, to standardize and get setting all the things in the undang-undang because it is an act. So EECA, it will be an act soon, and I already read the bills, okay. The penalty to those who actually exceed the standards of the energy consumption is very high penalty. So more than 70% of the industrial buildings in our country, they will actually buy time under the EECA Act. And for commercial building, it's around 16%, okay, for all those high intense commercial buildings like shopping mall, big hotels, okay, they will also tie under EECA. So Malaysia only started with this, okay, but people are actually really far ahead. We are talking about saving our own future. We are talking about saving our poor Mother Earth, okay? So no more coming to me and tell me, appeal the Shara for you. Okay. Then the third one is CASB. CASB, one of the very early Asia tools owned by Japan. Okay. Then Singapore Green Mark. They are great. Okay. They are very great. Singapore Green Mark started at year 2025. Very successful tools. The first tropical tools. All those is, temperate country, 4-season country. The first tropical tool is Green Mark. Back to Singapore. Okay. Now, yes, I do agree that MPPP, okay, Majlis Bandaraya Pulau Pinang, we are the first one who actually accepted and mandate green building certification. So now we compulsory green building certification for all new development. We are the first and the only authority in the whole Malaysia, in the whole country who mandate this Shara. But let me share you some story about Singapore. Singapore government mandate the green building compulsory for green building for new development at the year of 2008. 2008, they already compulsory. And something kept me shocked is that at the years of 2014, the Singapore government compulsory all existing building. Whenever the existing building that you going to submit plan, to do renovation or whatever, you need to be green building as well. They even go into compulsory existing building to be green building. And now, 2024, Penang started with this. When I heard this, I am excited, okay? It's nothing with my business. I feel excited because I see a hope, okay, to the poor polar bear. But there are many calls to me, this cannot be done, that cannot be done. So today it is a good time for everybody here in the hall to think about whether it is doable or whether it is for us as an architect on behalf of the client to ask for a waiver. That is a very important question I need everybody here in the hall to think about. Okay? And of course the last one is GBI, which owned by Malaysia since year 2009. Okay? For so many years, 2009 until now, 692 projects already built and certified under Green Building Certification. There are more than 500 are actually coming up. Good news to everybody, Penang, we are the second smallest state in Malaysia, but we are actually having the third largest green buildings numbers in Malaysia, followed by Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, then Penang. We are the third largest green building holders in the country. Okay, so yeah, 67. Talking about all the green buildings, 600 over green building built out is actually equal almost to 67 twin towers. 50% of energy consumption proven, reduced through a green building. And we are talking about 1.4 million tons of carbon CO2 reduction annually through a green building. This is the most important part, The green building itself is actually reduce energy consumption, that thus it helps us to reduce carbon emission every year. We are not talking about one time. We're talking about operational carbon. So this is the thing that a green building can help. This is how we talk about decarbonization through a green building. And as green building expensive, you can snap picture and show to your client. This is the real statistics by GBI. I'm not so sure GBI whether they declare it or announce it, but it's okay for me to show you guys a real statistic from GBI together with all actual building data. So when you talk about certified building, we're talking about 0 to 2% increment. So the average is about 1.1. Yes, you can build a GBI certified building without a cost, because I do have a project, LMC building, low medium cost. GBI certified without incur any cost. It's all about passive design. It's really all about passive design, So when the rating getting higher and higher, more technologies come in. So when you look at gold, we are talking about 3.8%. It's 2 to 6%. It still depends on how you set up the basic parameter, whether the base parameter design where we set is correct or not. If we setting it wrong, then you need to spend more money in order to achieve the certificate, rating. So this is the actual percentage of incremental cost of a green building. So yes, you might need to spend a little bit more to make the building green. But think about what actually is the main reason on the investment. That is what actually the state wanted us to achieve. So think about the poor polar bear. I always keep reminding the polar bear and the polar bear again. When I'm showing you guys so proud about green building, we are one of the fastest growth measurement tools in the world. Yes, we are. If you're checking all the tools in the world, different countries, different tools, right? Malaysia GBI, we are one of the fastest tools since 2009, and they keep continue got intake, and the total numbers of green building increased in these past 14 years. We are one of the fastest growth in the world. But when we plug back all these projects versus the total projects or total properties, total buildings in the entire country, you see, just now Belen telling you guys so proud, GBI lah, green building lah, so good lah, all these things lah, environmental friendly lah, carbon reduction lah. But yet, after 14 years, we only have 0.0092% green building in Malaysia. What you guys feel? I repeat again. We only have 0.0092% green building in Malaysia. as an architect, when I look at the percentage, it's really, really depressing. We have so many architects, in the countries. We have so many young and passionate. I'm not saying the old one not good, the old also good, okay? We have so many young and energetic, architects in Malaysia. We can actually change the whole, Malaysian conditions in the built environment in order to increase that. I can't even proudly tell my friends in other countries, because it's not even achieved 1% green building in the country. And Singapore, they are talking about the entire island. And when you step into Singapore, immediate landing in Changi Airport, you can feel the difference. Yes, the difference is they are rich, okay, fine. Besides they are rich, okay, they are green. You can hear or not? They are green. They are really green. They know how important of going green, because their countries are small, okay? They can't generate electricity, continue generate electricity for their own consumption. They can't. They understand, okay? They cannot continue throwing money to generate water for consumption. They understand. That's why they conserve it, they preserve as much as possible. So this is how they see the risk in soon future. But we have too much over. That's why we don't appreciate. So not even 1%. My fellow friends, I do appreciate, and I sincerely seek for you guys helps together to increase the green building percentage together with me. Okay? Okay, huh? So I assume after today's talk, I wouldn't receive any complaint again on the new Jara. Then, so the question now is, are you still with green building or beyond? You see, I purposely started with green building, and green building. But yet, in fact, in the world, even World Green Building Council, they are no longer talking about green building. You see, we are here still discussing whether want to do a green building or not, whether a green building can be done or not. But yet, okay, in World Green Building Council, worldwide, we are actually moving to low carbon building or zero carbon building. People are talking about zero carbon building, and we are here. Whether they want to paint my building in green? No, okay, please. It's really, really very, very slow and late for us as Malaysians to react into the green and sustainable built environment. I see you guys, double think, triple think again, okay, on what actually the fundamental of us to be an architect, in related to environmental issues. So then now, there are two targets worldwide, okay, in the building industry. You look at it, 2030 and 2050. 2030, this is direct from the World Green Building Council, okay? So the target is advanced net zero. 2030, all new buildings must be net zero operational carbon, okay? We don't look at the other thing, we look at the main point first. By 2030, all new buildings to be net zero operational carbon. So when talk about carbon, to be simplified, two big categories, operational carbon. Remember this term, operational carbon. So by 2050, all buildings, including existing buildings, must be net zero in both embodied carbon and operational carbon. That is by 2050, okay? Both, so two categories of carbon, okay? Operational carbon and embodied carbon. I will explain this more detail in the next slide, okay? But when I show you the last night, then even more depressing. Because you ask me, Balan, we can go home already. Seems like cannot be done. When the first time I look at it, I also have the feeling. But when I meet Mr. Daniel yesterday, when I aware what Alcom doing now, then I see the hopes again. Let me explain to you why. It's not because he is the sponsor today that I say so, no. It's not truly, okay? It's really not. He is one not to say the only, but one of the very committed company in doing all the things what Raja present, what Mr. Daniel present to us, all the awards just now. Let me explain to you how important their action, their transformation into the embodied carbon. Okay? Because the embodied carbon seems like it's really not related to us directly, but indirectly, yes. Okay? Zero in embodied and operational carbon. Then the question now is, what is operational carbon? What is embodied carbon? Okay? Do you guys think this is achievable or not? We don't look at 2050 first, okay? Too far away. 2030, 6 years from now. But next, okay? Net zero operational carbon. Can we achieve or not? Then how to achieve? How to achieve? Be confident. Okay, I also have to be confident we can achieve it by the acceptance of the neutrality compulsory green building in the net. Okay, this is one of the main steps that the council needs to do and the states needs to do in order to achieve the target. It's a world target. Okay. It's not just achieving the target, it's actually back towards to us, okay? If we don't do that, that will be the end of the world, okay? So now, this is a projection, don't worry, and no need to see that, because we know that the percentage of the carbon emission will keep continue increase in the building sector, okay? So now, operational carbon. Operational carbon, okay, never mind. I don't like to read all these long terms. I think most of the architects, we don't like to read all the words. Sorry, I really salute Raja because you can write articles. I can't write articles, okay? Don't read this, don't read this. I show you guys the diagram, then you will know what is the difference between operational and embodied carbon. Look at this diagram, much easier, right? Alright, don't read the long things, okay? So look at it, okay? So there you see embodied, you see embodied, all embodied carbon and the operational carbon, operating carbon. So when the building finish build, when the building start operation, when people move into the building, whatever activities in the building, we use energy, okay? That is operation, okay? When we consume the building by using energy or even water, because water also got carbon emission, okay? So when we consume the building, operate the building, the entire add up of all this consumption, if you have a carbon emission, that we call operational carbon. Understand me or not? Simple like this, okay? That is operational carbon. And now, just now I mentioned to you guys, by 2030, world target talking about net zero carbon on operational carbon. There is the carbon we are looking at, okay? Net zero by 2030. So, by 2050, we are talking about net zero embodied carbon. So what is embodied carbon? There, all this is embodied carbon. From the extractions of the raw material, quality, whatever like that. So from the raw material, when we extract it, then we need to transport it to the factory, manufacturing to process it, okay? The transportation also, there is an emission, carbon emission coming out. Then the factory processing, definitely good machinery, we need energy. So the process of the whole manufacturing, that is also embodied, considered embodied. Because all this actually, end up, come up with an aluminium, a piece of aluminium. So the entire process of all this carbon, there is a calculation of embodied carbon. That particular item, simple understanding of embodied. Then from there, finish manufacturing, go to our site, transport to the site, then during construction, we do use energy, then during the building and the maintenance, we do have, because the material being used in the construction of the building to get the building finished, If let's say the building after 50 years demolish it, we will consume, we will have carbon emission also. After they demolish, whether you recycle it or you throw it to landfill, they also need transportation, and then again, okay, of course, hopefully not to landfill. It's good that, outcome, you guys are actually salvage back all the things and make it to be a circular economy to recycle the entire material, which is very good. But again, that also costs some energy consumption and carbon emission. And all this process, okay, that is embodied carbon. Now, do you understand what I mean just now? When the very first time I try to understand carbon and I look at this thing, it seems that the embodied carbon cannot be achieved. Who have the same feeling with me? Embodied carbon can be achieved or cannot be achieved. That's why up until I met up with Mr. Daniel yesterday, when I understand that there are companies in the market like Alchem doing things like this. It's not easy, frankly, it's really not easy because the total amount of changing all the process, technique, investment, and who knows what will happen to business, nobody can guarantee. Just by a belief they do that. I heard another company also on doing floor tiles one. They also transform the process into something similar, which is trying to lower down all the embodied carbon. So far until now, Malaysia, we don't have any act to tie, to lower down or penalty the whole process of the embodied carbon. But it is really needed. If we don't have any law on that, perhaps the EEC Act, but the EEC Act, the act only at this stage on the manufacturing because it's direct towards to the factory. But again, what I mean is there are many other things else which also embodied carbon emission. So that is the whole idea. So come back. Don't look so far on the embodied first, okay? Settle the operational carbon first together, okay? Let us settle the nearer goal, which is by 2030, how to achieve net zero operational carbon. So that is the whole idea, okay? That is the whole idea of how we can actually reduce. If you look at the left-hand side, most left-hand side bar, the darker green one, we saw it as an operational carbon. I found the lower part is an embodied carbon. This is the full cycle of the carbon of, let's say a building. That is how it is. So now, what actually I'm here to show you guys, share with you guys, how to reduce the operational carbon first. By reducing the operational carbon with all this method, and also with another 1, 2, 3, 4 plus this one, these 5 methods, we can actually pushing it to become net zero operational carbon building. Okay, so that actually is a very simple diagram to show you guys. Okay, so then after pushing down, it becomes net zero operational carbon. Then how we can actually make it become net zero embodied carbon as well. This is some of the method how we can actually, make the building fully net zero carbon. But again, don't look at this first. I don't want to scare you guys. We handle the operational carbon first today, okay? So how we handle the operational carbon? So by all these 4 and plus this one 5 methods. First one, what is the time now? 11:50. So I'm actually until 12:30. Good. Then I can not to speed up so serious. But I think I managed to get done by 12:30, slightly earlier. So passive, we are architects. We all know about passive design, and that is the basic fundamental of zero carbon building direction. The first strategy, passive design. Set the whole thing right. Then I know what I miss out. There are some wording. Sorry, I'll give you 2 seconds. Never mind. Passive design. The very first strategy, there are actually wordings on top, but I think something wrong with it. Never mind. So there are strategy step by steps. Okay. It's something like, I mean, again, today my presentation is nothing new for you guys. I know we are architects. Okay. There are more senior architects than me. I mean, on the ground. I'm here today not to teach. I'm here today to share, to remind something that we already know, okay? Just to refresh back. This is something correct that we need to do. We need to do. If without setting all these parameters correctly, trust me, you will facing difficulty in order to achieve your syarat-syarat kelulusan on the Green Building Certificate. Because the Green Building Certificate syarat-syarat kelulusan, you guys are talking about GBI goal, am I right? For those who already received the syarat, most of the buildings are actually compulsory to have a Green Building Certificate in a gold rating. Don't look at me, I'm not the one who made the syarat, okay? You can stare at me like this, I am not the one, okay? Dr. Panda is the one who make it. So, in order to help your client to achieve the rating with a minimal incremental cost, you need to remind yourself on all these basic strategy, okay, no matter how. Because if you don't following all these basic strategy, if you only end up with a building that you need to spend more in your green cost in order to hit the certification rating, then you are facing another issue of a client. How come I cannot do too expensive? So we need to step back. When you get the whole plot, empty plot, then we need to think on this. Okay? So the first thing is about orientation. That is the first passive strategy. Orientation. I was shocked last week when I go back to become an external trade panel for USF Year 2 students. You know, Year 2 students is only 3-story buildings and the lecturer giving them a very big development lot. I mean, students, it's about design. And I was surprised. I purposely go to the hall, the studio, USF, I mean Year 2 studio, very early, 1 hour earlier before the trade, because I want to check one by one. And it's so sad for me. I do tell the lecturer and the students immediately after the click session, it's so sad for me that your building is so small and the size is so big, which given by to you as your project, okay? But 98% of the students, they never purposely oriented the building direct to northeast. This is something that made me feel sad. We know orientation is important, am I right? But the student with a big lot, small building, yet they didn't have the very first mindset to orientate the building in the very correct direction, which is towards the north and south. I know sometimes in actual projects, we don't even have much choice. Usually our size is very small and tight, we need to maximize the building build up. But it is very important for us to orientate the building correctly. That will actually help you to reduce your thermal transfer very much difference. Then you can actually save up a lot on your glazing specs, which is one of the biggest amount, okay, of the entire total construction cost. setting up the first strategy on orientation, it is very, very important, and that costs nothing. Oh yes, the words come on the third click. Okay, now I understand. Orientation, building orientation. Don't ever look down on these small steps, okay? Setting up the orientation correctly. Then the next thing, facade. Facade design, OTTV. MPPP and the Penang State Government implemented OTTV UBBL 38A, okay, it's a new law at that time, 2017. So whatever building aircon area more than 4,000 square meter, then you need to calculate your OTTV, where your OTTV not more than 50 watt per meter square. What is OTTV? Okay, look at the unit, okay. The bylaws say OTTV not more than 50 watt per meter square. So OTTV is the overall thermal transfer from all the facades, not the roof another calculation, from all your facades. So we average it, okay? Every meter square of your facade, the heat penetration not more than 50 watts. This is what's stated in bylaw. And this is part and parcel also under the certification standards. Either you are green build, GBI, green ID certificate, whatever certificate, that is the first mandatory calculation that you need to calculate, and that direct related to your facade design. Okay. Simple said, few things about your facade design that will related to OTTV. First, the sizes of the window. Simple understanding, the bigger the opening, the more heat penetration to the building itself. Am I right? Second, whether we have a sufficient sun shading devices. We are in tropical. Centuries ago, the local people know how to do the anjong overhang very long in the kampong houses. Because of the heat, we try to give shade to the internal parts of the building. Okay. Then the colors of the buildings, okay, black color and white color, only the color itself. Real statistics it helped to reduce at least 5% of the OTTV value, only the color itself. Sometimes the client tell me that it's very expensive. I tell him, why you painting in black color? That is one of the not a great way, I say, into green and sustainable. So the colors of the building, and of course the orientation. And the very last one is the specifications of the glass. Okay? A clear glass, a tinted glass, a low E glass, it gives different effects on the heat penetration to the building. It's actually all combined in one calculation, OTTV calculation. But I don't want, I am a very luxurious condominium. I want to have full height building, full height glass panel. Then you go for low E glass more, double glazed low E glass more. But you cannot tell me, oh, it's very expensive. No, it's very expensive. Then what you want from me? You get what I mean or not? I'm telling you, you guys know, we all know we are from the tropical region. We know that the bigger the window it is, the heat penetration will go inside, and you don't want to spend on that. Then reduce the window size. Reduce the window size, slowly calculate back, reduce it until you hit the OTTV. Then you have an omission of the glass saving, and then you hit a green building certification. Why not? Cannot. I want a big opening. Then you go and find other people, I don't know how to comment. You know what I mean or not? So this is some of the things, okay, in the OTTV. I love this picture very much. This is a mechanical low cost. Then the three yellow color building. You guys notice or not? Before move in and after move in. Once after move in, immediate the owner build their own awning out. Why? Why? Sometimes I feel it is a shame for me to become an architect, because that is the need for the resident, for the building occupant itself. It is the need for them to have the awning, because it is hot. Otherwise, what for they spend money to build the awning? You look at it, so many awnings happens around. Am I right? That means Oh, okay. Before I continue, who is the design architect or the project architect of this project here in the Roma? I tell you, there was once I really used a building. I don't want to tell the building anymore. It's so ashamed for me, you know. I use the building. I keep on pointing the building. You look at me, no insulation, no sun shading. Wow, like this, like hell, wow, like a oven, you know, stay inside the building, blah blah blah. And the architect is there, you know. So now I ask, who is the architect? Are you the architect for the mechanism? I understand this is a low cost. I do understand. But now, today we are here talking about sustainability. Okay, why people put up awning immediately when they move in? It is a need. It is so important that all these windows need to be shaded. Agree me or not? So we know that is a need, and this is something important for them to make them comfortably living inside without relying on aircon. Actually, friend talk, okay, no hard feeling. Sometimes we are architect also very the road one. You know why? We actually not us the road, the developer the road. We already tried. I know you guys tried. We try to talk the developer but feel. Then we end up we produce them. We give them a unit which is very hot. Okay. Think about they are not rich person, very hot. Then they need to spend money to buy aircon in order to have thermal comfort, man. Okay, they save money to buy aircon, thermal comfort. Then on the entire life, or staying in the building, they need to pay higher electricity bill. They are not very rich person, you know. So all this is because of our decision, whether we want to build it green or not, you know. So think about all these things. I love this picture very much. So that's about OTTV, okay? So you need to calculate OTTV when council asking you go for green building certification. Last time, the OTTV calculation only applies to aircon building where more than 4,000 square feet. But now because of the new Shalat asking you go for green building, then you need to calculate OTTV. And that will immediately affect your facade design. Okay, this is the tropical. Again, I keep reminding, we are located in tropical. Okay, a tropical building should have a tropical features. Okay, don't ever direct adopt all those modern buildings from temperate country. In the winter season, they need sunlight to warm the building. But here, we don't need sunlight. It's over hot. Okay. So then the third one, daylight thing. Beautiful rendering, beautiful interior, beautiful bungalow design, beautiful just like a microwave or an oven, and we will just like a turkey inside the oven when you stay in this living hall. Hot, then you will die. Okay, so we need natural daylight thing. Okay, we do need natural daylight thing. As per in Malaysia standard, okay, there is a clause saying that we need natural daylight as per 10% of the floor area. Okay, that is required in order to have natural daylight to reduce unnecessary artificial lighting. But when we keep continue design the window bigger and bigger and bigger, and more than 25% of the floor area, I'm not so sure whether you guys are aware this. When your window opening more than 25% of the floor area, the entire internal space you will receive glare. Too glare, then you will close with curtain. That defeats the purpose. Now you understand. Everything there is a balance, okay? It doesn't mean that I want a big building, yes, everything big. Then when I pass by journey, drive, look at all those high-end condominium with full high window and then close with different colors curtains. It looks so perfect before people move in. Once people move in, then it will be different color curtains, like a color chart. That is not what we want. So daylight thing, we want to receive daylight thing, but we don't want to receive the heat. So that is the fourth thing that we want to see. Natural ventilation. Yeah, this is something that we really need to think about. I've been talking about to many developers, clients. It seems like very difficult. And the developer telling me, Paylan, this is the most efficient layout. Sometimes the client will tell me like this, oh, this is the most efficient layout. What is the most efficient layout in the market now? Go inside, dining hall, the living hall, then master bedroom, the last one with the together with the master bath facing outside. Second bedroom facing outside. The third bedroom and the shared bathroom facing inside. That is a very typical layout, am I right? Which the developer tell me, oh, this is the most efficient layout, Alan. Then I'm asking you all, okay, let's say your son buy a house for you, okay? Father, mother, I buy a house for you. Wow, so good, my son buy a house for you, we stay together good. Then he put you in the third room, bedroom number 3, facing to the area or facing to the corridor, no sunlight, so always dark. You know what I'm saying or not? I think you all can imagine because you are architect. Without a drawing, you know what I'm saying. Put you at the third bedroom number 3. No sunlight, no ventilation, no privacy facing to the corridor. What do you think? You want or not? Now you don't dare to answer me. Because you don't want. And when we don't want as an architect and we design that, and we hope people will take it. Something, and it is time for us to rethink how can we actually reshuffle the layout again in order to have more cross ventilation happen around. Cross ventilation is very, very important in our country, tropical region. We don't need cool air, but we need a very good air movement. The air movement actually bring out the humidity on the skin, okay? That makes us feel comfort. Air movement, cross ventilation. When I go back to USM giving talk on this, you see all the green features, it seems like cross ventilation is one of the most challenging one. Because in the modern layout, it seems like very difficult. Am I right? Even terraces also cannot cross ventilation happen unless we put an area in the internal part. But today, again and again, it is a very good time for everybody here in the hall to rethink what actually we do is really a perfect design, or it still have a gap for us to improve it, in order to be more sustainable. Cross ventilation. Okay? Then the roof insulation. But no worry on the roof insulation. It's already become by law since year 2017 for Penang. That's why all of your building, you're required to calculate the roof U value. Together with your building plan approval. Okay, but please calculate it correctly. So roof insulation is also part of the passive way. Now we are still in the passive way. Okay, the first part we are talking about setting down the operational carbon. Remember? Okay, so then the sixth one, the strategy. Landscaping. The landscaping is important in order to cool down the entire ambient temperature of the building. When the ambient temperature is low, then the building will feel cooler. That will actually reduce the energy consumption, the mechanical system to cool down the building. So it is important. I love this project. Do you guys know where it is or not? Somebody? I'll treat you a lunch if you can guess this. Malaysia is always like this, got lucky door, then you will show your hand. Because I am like this. When I heard lucky door, then I will show my hand. No matter the answer is right or wrong. This is just in Singapore. It is a Singapore project. And this is a community hall. Yeah. Surprisingly, how come other people can do like this? How come my project cannot do like this? Okay, so with landscape design together. So just now I'm talking about all these 6 strategy examples that we need to do in passive design. If you want your green building built in a low cost way, minimal green cost, minimal green incremental cost, you need to stick back to all these 6 strategies in passive way. That is the fundamental and basic. If you're telling me that your green building is expensive, that means you are not really doing good in all these 6 strategies on passive design. So once you get your plan, bear in mind in all these strategy, the passive design strategy, set it right, then believe me, you already help your client to reduce a lot of unnecessary big costs. Okay? That is the first part on this. And this is the 6 major things that will help you on your compliance to the shala. You need to do this no matter how. Okay? Don't follow the old layout anymore. Okay? So then we settle the passive way. We continue to make it zero operational carbon. By having all the passive design correct, we set a very good base as a cool building design. Okay? All those things that we discussed just now to make the building cool. Then the second part, active design. Then the M&E come in. I tell you a story, very happy one, and very proud to be an architect one. There was once I argued with an engineer, M&E engineer, very senior M&E engineer in Penang. How many of you guys trying to understand what your M&E design for your building? Do you guys ask about what actually the dance of the aircon chiller system? Do you guys ask? No. Do you guys ask what actually is the delta T or the chiller hertz that design for your building of the aircon system? No. Okay, never mind. Something more simple. Do you guys ask M&E engineer why you design 20 numbers of fitting in this room? Do you guys ask this or not? Also no. That means we are the lead consultant for the building and we leave the entire M&E thing to the engineer and then we just like this. Trying to understand, because when I discuss with the M&E engineer, you will be surprised. I'm telling him that, hello, together with me, with the architect, we try to do all the passive design. We know that the building load, the building heat load, because of the low OTTV, we know that the penetration of the heat into the building is very low. The building will be cool, okay? So I asked the engineer, hey, I'm designing in so many effort to make the building so cool, and you give me a normal aircon system design. You should scale down the entire aircon design, because I don't even need that big aircon design to cool my building. Then I tell the client, now you see how I help you to save your cost or not. Green building not necessarily expensive. If the building already cold, what for we need that? If the building already with daylighting harvesting, what for we need so many artificial lighting in the building? So this is the things that we need to work together and discuss with a louder voice with the M&E engineer, but not argue, just my voice louder. So we need to work together in a team, because after the passive design, M&E plays a very, very important role in order to press down the operational carbon. Then, EE lighting, you will be surprised, you really will be surprised. The percentage, we are talking about 20 to 30% reduction by changing the efficiencies of the fittings. With the same luminance, okay, efficacy, we are talking about luminance level with the lighting power. Same luminance, same brightness, but you look at the energy consumption for different types of lighting. It's so different, so big difference. So they need to, design in that way. There are standards. We have Malaysian standard 1525. In assist M&E design, the efficiency and the luminance level of each area. We don't need an over bright room for us, to use. It's actually hazardous to the eye. It's too bright. See, then you will blind. Trust me. Alright. So this is something that we need to sit down and discuss with the M&E. Then control, sensor control. When I go to Korea, when I go to Japan, and recently when I go to China, surprisingly, all their common corridor and the lift lobby come with sensors. Okay? Saya memang tak takut hantu. That's why I don't even care about the darkness, okay? But what I mean is, there are law by them, all the common areas, they need to put up sensors. And surprisingly, the sensors are actually helping us to cut down at least 20% of the unnecessary energy wastage. That is a lot. Very, very huge. We are talking about 20% reduction by putting up sensors. And recently when I go to Bangsar, there are a few shopping malls in Bangsar. All their entire car parks is full with sensors. It's a time for us to think and explain to the client how much you can save in coming future. Yes, you need to spend a little bit more in the initial, but how much you can actually save by having the sensors. Human memang tak boleh pakai punya, kan? Saya tak tahu apa tiap-tiap kali. I always like to say a joke, okay? Especially the lady will kill me later. Especially the lady, when you guys go to a hotel room, you know, cuti Malaysia kan, go to a hotel. When you step into the hotel, I don't know why Malaysia habit always the first action when you open the hotel door. You want to be an electrician to test the lights whether function or not. Use it. Okay, electric powers, VFD, this is very technical, I know. Sub-metering, also very technical, but this is part and parcel how the M&E design. This is the thing very important in order to reduce the energy consumption in the building. Okay, this is a bit technical, I don't want to touch on this. Then, okay, this is an aircon design. Okay, look at the specs. This is what actually stated clearly under Malaysia Standard 1525, energy efficient design for non-residential building. M&E design, when they do the design for aircon system, it should base on this and nothing more than this. Otherwise, it will be an energy wastage. Okay? For general building, don't tell me, oh, I have a clean room in the industrial building. They have their own specs. But what I mean is a normal specs. It should be happen like this. Do you feel cold in this hall or not? I saw some lady. That means something wrong. I think Amari Hotel are very rich. You know, I mean, to pay money on all this. If we stay here with feeling cold, that means something wrong with the M&E system already. The aircon is over cold the room. So, I mean, you get what I mean or not? So, all these things makes global warming, climate change. Okay? So, at least we know, then we can actually sit down and discuss with the M&E together. Energy management system, okay. Solution number 8, okay, energy management system. This is something I want to alert architect again. Because every time when I talk to M&E engineer, they don't aware. Under Uniform Bylaw 38A, okay, under Uniform Bylaw 38A, not only OTTV more than 4,000 square feet need to be calculated, but any building with aircon space more than 4,000 square feet, it is a law that the M&E engineer need to provide an EMS system, energy management system. It's a system for them to understand which area using high energy, which area using low energy. Without the system, they only got a TNB bill. They don't know how to justify the building. If they want to do any improvement, then they don't know where to start. So it is a law, okay? Tell your M&E engineer when you have project with them, when you guys know the aircon more than 4,000, tell them it is a law you need to do. If not, you will get So tell them on this, okay? Then about rainwater harvesting also under mechanical system. So this is all the active parts, okay? After we set up the parameter perfectly, then together with the active part, we will further lower down the operational carbon for the building. Then the third part, operational, okay? And this is the worst part. We can build wonders in Malaysia. We really can build wonders in Malaysia. But Malaysia culture on maintaining building is, I don't know how to explain. I can't even find the word, and I don't want to use a rude word. It's really bad, you know. Building turns up 1-2 years perfect, then following by the bad maintenance, it will run down very fast. This is Malaysia. I'm actually staying in Genie Drive area. I always go to Genie Plaza. Genie Plaza before sold to Capital Land, run by local maintenance, is really bad. When run by Capital Land, you look at Genie Plaza, it's different, you know. It seems like non-stop maintenance, non-stop upgrading. How come people think, okay, how come Singaporean, I don't like to praise on them, by the way, okay. How come Singaporean, they can actually have that kind of mindset, you know, to maintain the building in a good way, but not us. So, this is the third step. Passive done, active done, then the operational team, okay. The operational team need to maintain the system, maintain the building in a sustainable way, okay. No matter how we design in a good way, you know, we have lecturer daylighting, we have sensor, whatever thing. 1 year go back, they bypass everything and turn on the lighting. So it's meaningless for the green building. So the operational. So nothing much we can do, but through educational. Okay, this is really out of an architect's scope. Just want to let you know that it's also important for operational to reduce the operational carbon. And of course, the very last one, RE. This is not into active, just not passive, active, operational, right? The RE are actually not part of active. Active, we are talking about EE, okay? Always remember the correct concept. EE first, then RE. We need to design it into energy efficiency, then we add on with renewable energy to further compensate and replace the energy consumption of the building so that we can actually reduce the carbon emission. Okay? But you got no choice already because all the building gonna solar panel in the neck with the new shara. Okay? So having that, oh yeah, RE. Look at it. Okay, this is a statistic. Denmark. Okay, 2020. Their country more than 85 renewable energy source. So happy to look at the chart. Malaysia 2030, less than 1% renewable energy. So this is us. That's why I'm saying when you find more information, when you find more data and statistics, then you will have the same feeling like me. Malaysia number one, I don't know number one until where. Number one, less than 1%. So see, people already very far from us, okay? So of course we also set up a target, and I know TMP also working very hard into this target, okay? By 2030, 20% of the energy source in the country are actually come from renewable energy. This is what the ministry committed, the federal government wants this, and TMP committed to do that. But now it's 2024 already. I just give a call to TMP Penang. TMP Penang telling us that we are less than 2%. I said, less than 2%? I thought the target is 20, 30, 20%. Yeah, no, we got 18% to go, no worry. So this is what they tell me lah. So we are less than 2% now. I don't know how, but again, try to settle whatever we can settle as an architect. At least we feel proud, okay, in part of the decarbonization journey. So that is the fourth one. Passive, active, operational, then renewable energy. Okay? This renewable energy we are talking about integrate, that means within the building. If let's say we already settle all the four things, also not yet zero operational carbon, then the last way is, off-grid renewable energy. That means we purchase the RE from the solar farm. That is the last way to press it to become net zero operational carbon. So, get green and electricity tariff, that is by TMP. Okay, big, large energy solar farm. Then we bought it and then serve it to our project in order to make the building become net zero operational carbon. So that is the whole idea, and this is what I try to remind everybody, and again not educate, to remind everybody, okay, on the importance of our stance when we start with the building designs. Then, of course, very last slide. After net zero operational carbon, then we see how to do on the embodied carbon. As I said, focus on the operational carbon first. Don't try to scare yourself with the embodied carbon. Okay? So this one we need even a bigger group of people working together in order to reduce. But then I am not purposely to praise Daniel in front of me, but until here they purposely come in to let me praise you. What I'm trying to say is, when we try to reduce what we as an architect we can do to reduce the embodied carbon by choosing the correct clean material. Very simple action on it. Okay? We are not the manufacturer, we can't go to the factory and tell them what to do. But we as an architect, in order to reduce the embodied carbon in the building, by choosing the green and sustainable building material, we need to check how is their process. We need to check whether they doing something or reduce something of the best factory. This is my very first time to see the Syrian carbon certificate. The very first one. So you're the only one. The first. Okay, great. Because I saw 2020 the certificate. No, 2024 June. Okay, good. So it is even much easier for us as a green architect to select on the material if the product itself, okay, they stand for all these. Carbon low emission carbon certificate. So as I said, simple. For us as an architect, the role that we need to play in order to help to reduce the embodied carbon is, okay, by choosing green and sustainable building material. That is what actually we can do to contribute on the embodied carbon. The technology, the scientific thing, let Raja and Alcom, you all handle. Something like this. So that actually is the things you and me need to do, okay? Need to do. It seems like there is no choice, one or don't want to do. The whole world change, the climate change, the statistics and the data telling us that we got no more choice. Okay? We need to do it soon as possible. So with this, I end my presentation just on timeline. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think just now we have a lot of information, especially the ESG, which like just now Balan, he asked that how many of you familiar with ESG? There's at least half of them might not be familiar. So today, if you have any further question about ESG, it's an opportunity to ask our speakers and also our sponsor Alcom, because they are the expert. I believe I will be the honor that to ask the first question. I think the question regarding the embodied green energy, embodied carbon, yes. Today, this embodied carbon, the terms is very refreshing to me because I rarely relate to this embodied carbon approach. So the question probably I need to ask Daniel about this embodied carbon, because the question is like just now Balan shared about the solar panel, the solar farm, and the renewable energy will be part of the embodied carbon. Yes, and from Daniel's side, whether maybe you can share about what is your approach towards this embodied carbon to our industry.
Okay, firstly, let me start by sharing with everyone. Actually, I thought we are going to work hard for these two guys, ask them questions. Mana tahu I kena sabo come out also. So, okay, Let me start with this embodied carbon. There are two parts just now, right? Operational carbon and embodied carbon. Very simply put, embodied carbon is actually the part to say that whatever you use and your process of using the raw materials, whatever choice of raw materials, and whatever process you use to build up the material, that is called the embodied carbon. Alright? Now, if you remember early in the morning, I spoke about the product carbon footprint certification, right? That is the process of under ISO 14000, that is a certified process that you must use to calculate, okay, this material already used so much carbon. When I process it, I add on the emission of carbon, and add. That's the embodied carbon calculation, the quantification. I want to give everyone this encouragement. It is not done by many people in Malaysia, I know for a fact. But we have done it in Hong. That's why we got a cert, right? If you think it's not achievable, the reason is because not enough of us together to want to get there. You start going for aluminium, then you go for steel, then you go for glass, then you get an answer to say the glass guy doesn't even know what is this. Right? That's the challenge. But the encouragement I give you is that it's doable. I want to tell you, no, it's doable. We have done it. Right? So that's that part of embodied carbon. Alright? The second part, we are talking about the operational part. That means when the building is up already, when you operate inside, how much carbon you emit in the process of using that whole building. Energy consumption, releasing of the carbon dioxide to the environment, that is operational. I'll give you an example now on solar. Just now we ended, sorry, I went out for a while, but the solar part. Solar part is very simple. You pull your energy or electricity from TNB, then it comes from coal, that one is carbon emission already immediately. But if you use solar, therefore in this case solar is considered renewable energy. The same, I want to give you the encouragement. Now at Elcom, our electricity bill is 1.5 million a month. 1.5 million. We are, sorry, the English is sucker for electricity. We use a lot, right? Now, what we did over the last, and we started already halfway, we have now an 11 acres rooftop. 11 acres rooftop size. Half of it now already with solar. We're going to complete all the 11 acres with solar, 100%. Any roof space. We're going to add on our car park also, we are not going to give chance. Everything all put on solar as well. But the sad news is this, even by using all this, that solar on all the roof can only churn 30% of our usage. Only 30%. So what did we do? Only 30%. Not many companies going to do this. We therefore sign up a tri-party, we call it a tri-party contract, VPPA, right? Where Tenaga, we are the corporate citizen investing, and our facilitator. We find a best spot in Perak, the angle to the sun is the best. We invest in a solar farm ourselves. And this solar farm generates 100% of our current 1.5 million consumption, which means we are not carbon neutral. We are contributing 30% more than what we are consuming as far as electricity is concerned. Alright? So I want to give you this guys, this thing to just encourage you to say that actually many suppliers, people like us, manufacturers, we can actually do it, but whether we want to do it or not, that's the part, right? Now I want to come to that last part. Just now we heard from our technologists, there's that part about business. And I asked this question, are we doing it for our children? If we are doing it for our children, the investment of the solar farm, we don't ask, it's for the future one.
no pain, no gain. Right? We don't pay now, our children will suffer. Right? But if you're doing it for the business, does it make sense? Let me tell you the answer. You think that the investment is a lot. We spent about 25 million having the solar farm and the solar on top of our roof. 25 million, thereabouts. I can't remember the exact number. But do the maths. With that 25 million, we will save 1.5 million of electricity bill per month. What's the payback period? Can anyone do a quick 25 divided by 1.5? If you add in the interest of taking a loan from the bank, I can tell you safely within 2 years. So the guy who is investing doesn't do long-term maths. It's not even long-term, mid-term, only 2 years. You put in the money, 2 years, dalam, you get back all your returns. After that, for the next 18 years, as long as your solar don't rosak, you save 1.5 million times 12 months, 18 million per year. Now, which part of this equation in a business sense, a businessman doesn't want to invest? I don't know. But you ask Alcom, we happen to have already a piggy bank, because why? We have actually signed off to double our capacity of our manufacturing is not enough. So there was already a 400 million investment that we are putting in already, piling starting next week, right? So we have already done that. It's just happened that now we are investing 400 million, we put in another 20 over million to make us more green. We have that advantage. But without that advantage, I want to tell everyone, there is this business sense to it, whether you go down that road. You want to talk to a businessman, invest more. You got to tell him what is at the end. Right? That's one. Sorry guys, I don't want to hijack this, but it's just passion. Number two, I want to tell you all about another thing. He mentioned about solar. Right? I actually told you the returns on the solar already, on Alcom's experience. Now, if you're going to meet a client and say, okay, this guy is already thinking, maybe I want to put a solar out there. And Bill mentioned about the choice of material. I also want to share with everyone, right? When MIDI sees that this fella is using, you know that whenever that anyone invests on solar, government pays 35%, right? There is a double tax deduction. It used to be 48% last year and it reduced down to 35% as incentive. It means if the investor invested 1 million on solar, government let them deduct tax for the following years of 350,000. But that is only for solar. We at Alcom has a first pass, a legal check. They see aluminium as green. So if you are going to do solar and your material of the roof is aluminium, then the government will allow you to also deduct that part of the roofing, 35%. You're getting a new roof if you re-roof, or your new investment for a roof, you get 35% paid by the government. If it's aluminium, again, you rosak, right? But imagine halfway, your roof rosak. Then how? After 8 years, 10 years, you want to change your roof, you take out your solar and then put in or whatnot and damage your solar, then how? So all these things don't make sense. A lot of us say, okay, we want to put a sports car, but on the roof, we want to save. I don't know that it's penny wise or pound foolish or what, right? But if you say that I'm going to change the roofing and I'm only going to pay 65% of roofing because it's aluminium, these are choices to get ESG, these are choices to become green, and business-wise, it makes absolute sense. So these are part and parcel that we are doing. Our proposition is out there. That means it's a business proposition. Our practice is inside in our factory. We invest to make ourselves green. But we don't talk. We put in a proposition for you and for the customer to have that value add. Okay, sorry, I took too much time.
Okay, anyone have any question?
I just want to add on to what Danny has said just now. So probably, maybe some of you while you're thinking of your questions. How do you operationalize the what do you call that, embodied carbon? So embodied carbon, you might hear people refer to it as a scope 3 emission, supply chain emissions. So how do you actually incorporate that in? Is actually when you have a product carbon footprint, you incorporate that into how you decide what are the criteria that you put in to decide what materials you choose. So this can either be taken in terms of carbon, means the amount of kilogram or tons of carbon dioxide equivalents that goes into your buildings. Or there are organizations that actually implement internal carbon pricing, which actually, they don't like to talk in terms of kilograms equal to E or kilogram carbon. They like to talk into dollars and cents. So I know Bursa Malaysia and Bank Negara is coming up with a framework on how we can operationalize internal carbon pricing, which means you put a dollar and cent. For example, the easiest way to think about it, what if a carbon tax framework exists in Malaysia? In Europe, 1 ton under cement is about 90 to 100 euros per ton. So what if you factor that into the cost of carbon for your imported carbon for the materials that choose to go inside your building, that goes into your building? How then will that change your decision in whether you choose iron or aluminium or whatever it is material that you choose? That's how you operationalize it. In the spiritual side, right, what are you doing? You're actually just making a choice of people who share the same vision as you to decarbonize. That's what it is. I'm only picking people that are sharing the same values as you. That's what it is.
Sorry, I have to add this. I forgot just now. This came impromptu to me. When you talk about carbon footprint, the calculations, the quantification and all those, the practical sense of business, there are lots of it. And of course, like 3 of us put together, if we stay here for 3 weeks, we can still be talking about it. But I want to throw out today, as at this morning I saw what's happening, I want to throw out today to all of you. Actually, this kind of forum for ELCOM, just for this year itself, with PAM Central, we've done quite a few. And we have 50 to 100 people visiting us or we visit them. Right? We've done a lot even in 2024 itself. I can tell you also in 2 months' time, in September, ELCOM is extending something similar. It can be more heavier, deeper, it can be lighter dependent on the needs. We are extending it even to East Malaysia, to Sarawak, right? I don't know whether Sabah will join, right? Then end of this year, we are going down to Johor, likely, very likely. Yeah? So the one in East Malaysia is confirmed. Now I extend to all of you. If your firm says, hey, Daniel, I'm going to get all my architects, my guys together, and I need a visit from you, I want you to share with us the practical business sense of having this ESG and make money, or rather it makes sense in business, or I want to understand the very detail of the calculations. How does it work? You're talking about scope 1, 2, 3, 4, what. How does it work? If you want that, reach out to ELCOM. We will come to your office and we will share this with you. Alright, today I want to roll this out. And as you mentioned earlier, Baylen, just to share with everyone, you imagine that we are investing 500 million. Alright? I'll be honest, ELCOM also have to borrow money from the banker. They are the banker. Right? But, I remember that passionate moment that we were shortlisting 4 or 5 bankers. But there was this moment that this bank is Bank of China, the first one that we were having interview with. And they are thinking whether they want to give us the loan. And we are thinking whether we should go with them, right? Can any one of you guess what's the first question that the Bank of China asked? Or I may hint to you. What's the first question all 5 of them asked? Anyone want to guess?
Maybe later, if you can guess, because later we will have lucky draw. But maybe during the lunch, you can guess correctly to Daniel, we might have a special prize. Okay? Because now we are short of time, we need to have a lucky draw later. So if you wish, you might need to stay a little bit longer.
No, keep it short. Keep it short, I'll tell everyone. The first question is not how much you want to borrow. You would think they will ask that. No, they ask us, are you ESG related? And because of that, I want to tell you another business advantage. Only 20, 30 million or 100 million is ESG related. The balance 400 million loan was based on an ESG loan, and we had a 0.4 point savings in the interest cost for the next years. Think about that. And this is Bank of China. First question, are you ESG or not? Nothing else.
Okay. Before I mention any question further, any complaints? Anyone want to do any complaints? Like, to be honest, our environment is giving us a very obvious signal. And of course, the target for 2030 and 2050 is our goal. Any question for Valen so far?
I'm a PhD, an architect practicing in Penang. When I left school 40 years ago, I was told that there are 4 pillars of sustainability. So is there any reason why one of the pillars has been removed? Okay, the next question is, or not question, the parent is that I think architects in Penang still doing good buildings. The picture you show us in McClellan Street, please don't use that example. Now there is one building coming up also in McClellan Street. You go around and see, I think they are doing a painting now. They got sun shading. Very nice building. Take a look at it. Use that one as an example. Thank you.
What is the fourth pillar?
Human.
Okay. So just a little bit. Actually, environmentalists and scientists are like business people also. The thought is the same, just rebranding. Right or not? So the thought of sustainability, actually the first idea of sustainability as Balan's slide showed, it started way beyond 1980s actually. It was when people were doing business, they were keeping their workers safe. It started all the regulatory frameworks and any frameworks regarding environment and sustainability, it started with occupational safety. Right? Because they decided one day that you have to keep your workers safe for the factory to run. So that's where it started. So your pillar is actually the people, planet, and profit. And actually there is another one which is the governance part which comes along. Because the people, planet, and profit will only come if you tak nyangak mana-mana as the previous Prime Minister said. Kalau you nyangak sana sini, then it's not going to happen. So it's actually the same. So when you look at ESG, it's actually the embodiment of that. It's actually a framework which actually puts things together. Because when you look at sustainable development goals, it's a little bit hard for people to pick up the 17 goals. You talk about sustainability, you think you talk about the environment, right? But when you look at goal number 1, reducing poverty, no environment. Then number 2 is reducing hunger, again no environment. Number 3 is health and well-being, again no environment. So what's happening? Susah orang faham, right? It's a little bit difficult for people to pick up. But for me, it's very easy. You go to a poor person, you go to a hungry person, you talk about the bear just now, they're going to give you a face lah. Apa you cakap? Right? So this is the reason lah. So everything has to merge together in the realm of sustainability. People need to prosper, building needs to be made, houses need to be built, schools need to be built, and companies need to make money. You cannot say lah, you go to people, take care of the environment, company don't make money, you say go to hell also, tak boleh. Right? So people profit and the planet. Tak boleh lah, people happy, business happy, you gasak semua, that's what's happening right now, and that's not going to help. Nothing has changed, sir. 40 years ago, now, still the same. The values are the same. The branding is a little bit.
And the same thing that, you see, when Mr. Lee mentioning about that building, okay, which is well designed with passive, which is sustainable, can you all see his pride? I think this is something embedded in all architects' mind, embedded in all architects' heart. When you are really into that, putting passion, putting effort to turn the building to be as green as possible, as sustainable as possible, then you can see what Mr. Lee mentioned just now with pride. So of course, okay, I am showing on the screens with a very lousy example. But we do agree that there are many, many other buildings outside there which we can improve the condition and also the sustainable features even much better. This is why I am here today. And back to the Syarat-syarat kelulusan. We have a deep discussion with Dr. Panda, especially on the solar. I think this is something you all love to listen. Pam actually drafting a paper back to council, okay, after a combination discussion together with IBM and also MIT and also MGBC, Malaysia Green Building Council. We actually drafting back a paper to council by putting up categories with different compliance. I do understand, you guys facing some difficulties on the 50% solar panel towards to the common area energy supply, am I right? But you know what actually the entire team think on this syarat. If let's say there is a syarat from the council, the design architect or the design team, we all should put that requirement in a very initial stage, through the building design process. Yeah. If you are facing no space for your building to put on the solar, then you might need to design another layer of roof in order, to put up the solar where your water tank are actually below the roof. As what I mentioned just now, if we keep continue practicing the old methods, there are no way out towards sustainability. So a pre-design, a pre-understanding on what actually council requires is important. By pushing down all the common area energy consumption, don't ever aircon your corridor. We don't even need to aircon the lift lobby. By pushing down the common area energy consumption, then you can actually minimize your space, your size of your solar panel. Then you don't even need a very huge space for you to do the compliance. You all understand what I mean or not? So that is all the strategies, steps by steps, building up together in order to minimize the green cost incremental towards the green building. That is important, and this is something that we need to re-exercise among the entire consultant team during the design stage. Usually, the M&E design never come into KM. You guys get what I mean or not? Some telling me, I don't know what is the size of my solar. It doesn't mean that that is the right practice. It is also good to get the M&E in a very early stage to estimate what will it be on the energy consumption, even in KM stage. That will actually help everybody in the team as well as the clients to minimize unnecessary cost spending on the green features. So that is the whole idea. Even the practice itself, we need to get in the consultant in the very early stage in order to comply with the syarat. This is something I want to deliver to you guys. Okay? Any other doubts or question on the syarat?
I think for now, because we are running out of time. So I'm sorry everyone, but if you have more questions, definitely we can meet up at lunchtime. for further questions. Okay, before we end up our Q&A session, I would like all our guests and our sponsor and architect Francis to stay on the stage for a little bit of token from Panel Chapter for all our guest speakers and sponsors. Okay, first, I would like to call upon Mr. Daniel. Give a round of applause for Mr. Daniel. Okay, next, I would like to call upon Technologist Raja Shastri. Okay, give a round of applause for our speaker. And last but not least, to Mr. Leland. Okay, again, another round of applause for all our speakers and sponsors for today. So, without further ado, I think everybody is excited for this for this point of time. So, I would like to call Mr. Francis, Mr. Daniel to stay on the stage.